How's it going, everybody? This is Merch by Amazon or Merch on Demand November 2022 sales update. Let's get right into these numbers. 162. That's the number in the US. As you can see here, $500 in royalties, just over $3,000 in sales, and royalties per sale just over $3. So 162, what does that put me? It puts me right smack kind of in the middle, like the most average number for the year, at least in the US, right? If we're looking at, some of the numbers starting in January, the way that the year started, it was pretty rough, especially coming from a pretty good September and October. I was so hyped here. I actually thought that it was going to keep, going up, and then, reality hit. We hit November, and it dropped significantly, kept dropping for the following 3 months, and then it kind of evened out, balanced out until we made it here. I mean, I peaked in May 2022 with 262 sales in the U.S. And that was the highest. Like it never, after July here, I never even cracked 200 in the U.S., which is pretty. It's a pretty common theme, not just you know from you guys that I'm talking to actively, but also people that I'm watching on YouTube and looking at other people's kind of sales reports and those kinds of things. So definitely not unusual, but it's I don't know if it's pretty disappointing. Like you guys know me, like I'm definitely dealing with reality here, but it's putting in so much work and everything, and then kind of averaging at around 150, 160, 70. Um, I'm thinking for 2023, some adjustments need to be made, and it's so unfortunate. I think that we're getting to the point where we now have to advertise. We have to start spending money to, and I get it. I get all of that, right? But the kind of um, the thought that if you make it to a certain tier now and you have a certain number of products live, because of the competition and because there's so many of us in the business, and everybody's grabbing each other's ideas and improving them and all that kind of stuff. It's really hard to get to a certain point without advertising. But again, sometimes you think that things will improve just by throwing money at them, and of course they don't. So, anyways, it's just kind of like a thought exercise at this point. Uh, but I'm thinking, let's make some adjustments for 2023. Now, if I'm not talking about merch in general, I'm super happy with print on demand because this has been my best year ever, and I've been expanding other platforms and everything. So I'm kind of happy in that sense. But just talking about merch, how can I be happy with 162 in November? We'll see what's going to happen in December. But like I said, reality is hitting, especially near the end of the year when I'm looking at these kinds of numbers. These are the annual numbers, and if you've seen the last video, my sales dropped by 1,000 in the U.S. and of course increased by about 1,000 across other platforms. So and I'll talk about this, I'm sure later on in December, but the way that it looks like I'm going to have about the same number of sales, except the trade-off is going to be that most of the sales are coming in from other marketplaces, because around this time, or even I think at the end of the year, I had about 3,000 sales in the U.S. last year. So 162 in the US, which brings me to 293 overall. So these are the royalties. If you add it up and everything, I haven't done it, but it will be, I think, about $900 US, which is okay. I'm definitely not going to complain about that. But even though I beat October here by one sale, which is always kind of fun to see that sale come in. So you can actually say, hey, I did better, but of course that it doesn't matter. That one sale, I did worse. overall. So overall, I got 293 sales compared to, and we'll have to go here, compared to October, which was 300 sales. So seven sales difference. I think actually royalties, I might have done better this month. So I mean, those 7 sales really don't do anything, especially if they're pop sockets. But that's what the numbers look like. And then the difference here, I'm going to show you guys this. This would be, we're looking at year to date, so 3,285. And let's actually see if I can just do this so I remember. 3,285. And then let's look at previous year, which was 3,586. And let me just see where that number is. So we'll just do it this way, which means that if I get 301 sales this month, I will beat the previous year, which I mean, in general terms, what I'm trying to say is this year will be exactly like last year, except that the distribution of sales is very, very different. And this is what I was talking about. Look at this number, 2,993 in the US, royalties 11,233 compared to, let's do it again. This is again, minus 1 month, and look at this, 1,000 sales difference. That is, to me, that's nuts. So anyways, definitely something to look at, to consider. I mean, the royalties are still good, but that's a huge difference year to date, and there's no way, unless I make $5,000 this month in royalties, there won't be any significant difference between this year and last year. So anyways, I'll do some more videos when I kind of think this through, and I think that's the benefit and the advantage of actually working with other platforms, because of my strategy. I guess that if I had a different strategy where I was chasing trends and being very proactive in advertising and attacking certain holidays, which is something that I'm not doing, then I can invest more time. But the way that I'm doing it right now, I'm actually very happy because I have a number of platforms that are slowly growing, and it's making me money. So that's why I'm okay with this. But again, the opportunity is here, and that's not even hidden opportunity. That's very much, in your face, smacking you in the face when you're thinking about the difference in sales, at least in the U.S. From last year to this year, it's just crazy. So anyways, that's what happened. Here we are. We'll see how December goes. So far, 11 sales, but we'll see. There's a whole month ahead of us, and it should be a busy month. So, fingers crossed. I think things are going to go well. Anyways, I'll wrap it up here. Also, just point this number out. I just cracked that. The next sale is going to be 12,001. So that feels pretty good. But yeah, I'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you soon.